Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's a Littlefinger. I've got a full tank review here on the T71. This is an American Tier 7 light tank, requested quite heavily recently. So I wanted to give back to the community and help them out with a tank that I saw several requests for. So this is a fun little tank to drive. Let me just talk to you about it as far as it goes. From the tech tree perspective, you're coming from the T37 up to the T71, and this is your first introduction on the American tank line to the autoloader. You've then got the T69, T54E1, and the T57 Heaven, which all have the 3-shot auto loading system. I'm not sure how many people go this route because obviously the T49 is one of the most popular played tanks because it's light tank, it's got a big derp gun, and it's pretty fun to play. So you can get to the T57 from the T59 here through the T54E1. So not sure how many people go this route, but it is certainly a fun tank. The T69 next tank up is also a good tank. Now you can see we're very low profile, small. You've only got 7 degrees of gun depression and no armor. Everyone is going to be shooting HE at it. Let me just run through the setup first. We've got repair kit, multi-purpose, and engine power boost. We've got the standard fuel, improved fuel, and case of cola. And 30, 15, and 15. Probably not going to need 15 HE, but you know, there's so much ammo on this tank that you're not going to run out, I promise. Heat, making sure that we're buying that with the credits and not gold. And finally, the equipment. We've got calibrated shells, improved modules, and primarily this is done because we've got the 20% damage reduction from ramming. As a light tank, you are an invitation to get rammed quite frequently, so you have to be careful with your driving skills. Improved optics. We're getting that view range up to 286. Doing our job as a light tank to get spots in as well. Supercharge, improved assembly, engine accelerator, vertical stabilizer, and toolbox, and rounding this out, consumable delivery system. All right, guys, blitzstars.com. We've got the T71, and I put the AMX 1375 and the SP1C right next to it because they both have the autoloaders. Then we've got the Bulldog and the LTTB. Bulldog here, just to compare the 2650 damage per minute, which number is insane, but 2146 on the tank is right in line with the other tanks. Penetration is nice at 160, and the thing that I wanted to point out about this tank here is you can get 3 shells off in 3 seconds, meaning you're doing a burst damage of 480. With the SP1C, it only carries 2 shells, but there's 3-second reload time in between there, so you're doing 450, but only 2 shells. So burst damage is the best of all of these tanks. So keep that in mind, that that really helps out because you have that maneuverability that you can reload and you can burst damage, hide, and repeat, and that's what makes this tank so much fun, in my opinion. The weapon handling is right in line. Just keep in mind we've only got 7 degrees of gun depression, which is a little bit odd for an American tank, but obviously with this being such low profile, I'm sure that's the reason why. Speed at 64 kilometers per hour with an effective horsepower per ton there at 44, so it does accelerate quite nicely. But I do like running that engine power boost just when you get yourself into a lot of trouble and get yourself out of it. 22 on the turret armor and 25 on the hull means everyone's going to be shooting HE at you. There is no need for me to go into armor inspector because everything's green for everybody. So just keep that in mind when you play the tank. All right, guys, so first battle I want to show is on Himmelsdorf, and I'm going to slow play to start because this is not a map that you can get out front and easily get yourself out of trouble, just because there's, all of the railroad cars are in the way. It's not a hilly map that gives you the ability to drive at full speed. And so I am going to wait and just see how their enemy team lines up. We're going to get a little bit of unluckiness here, bouncing 2 off the Panther and missing 1. But now I've noticed that I've got a T25 here. The Panther's in the middle, and I've got an SU. So what I'm thinking I need to do is I need to get in here and spot and draw them out so that my teammates can help. And obviously that's a big ask these days in Blitz to ask for help, but I'm going to get in here and just try to, you know, distract these guys. And I take a lot of damage up front here, but I don't think that they were expecting me to run back through their side here with the power boost on. You can see how fast we can get up to speed, and look what my team has been able to do now. We have able to just get them all completely annihilated, and my team can move in and finish them off. Not sure how I bounced 2 shots off of the Kunstpanzer, but we do get the kill. We're on 85 hit points, so we've got to be really careful here. Now it's time for me. I've done my work. You know, we've completely cleaned up this side of the map, and now it's just time to see if I can get some extra shots in and increase the damage. But it's, you know, not usual you see a team that works together that well. We get the burst damage, 482 into the Tog. See if he gets finished off. Yep. And then we'll push up, knowing that the T-29's on this side. Not even bothering to see if HE will pen his butt. Probably won't. But now you can see the power of the autoloader. We're at over 2,000 damage. And that's why I love these autoloaders. That's why I think the T69 is such a great tank at the tier. We finished with 2,600 damage. So I think, you know, that kind of shows in a nutshell how to play this tank. Get yourself into trouble, get yourself out of trouble, and then use your remaining hit points and your burst damage to clean up a little bit. All right, guys, Desert Sands, bottom tier, Supremacy. Looking at the lineup, who is going to be on my side here? Centurion is, and the Pantera is. That's not a battle that I want to go up with. We've got obviously an autoloader, and both are tiers above me, so I am going to help support my team on the heavy side. And this does take away my ability to get early spots, but that does not mean that we can't be useful and spot later on, or I'm not gonna sit up here and camp, but I just want to get now a feel. I don't want to run into all of their heavy tanks, right? So I'm gonna sit in the back and let them get spotted, and then decide to make a move. And you can see the T-34-2 on our team is pushing in. There's the Centurion as anticipated, and I bet you the Pantera's over there as well. And that gives us this opportunity here to sneak in behind these guys using our speed and burst damage, and, you know, just putting shots in the backside of these tanks. Now, if I not run into the building, I probably would not have gotten shot there. That's one of the things you have to be good at in this tank, is driving while looking the other way. So you have to really know the maps. It's gonna now give us 2 kills with, you know, back-to-back shots. And I'm noticing my team is pushing in, so it's time for me to hit that reload button. Force, let's not leave 1 shell in there. Let's reload while we don't have any targets. And let's play the distraction role a little bit. My team is heavily outnumbered, or we're outnumbering the Reds there on the heavy side. As you can see, the JP and Centurion and Pantera is somewhere over there. So I don't mind taking on the Centurion now, knowing that he is alone. Yeah, he's going to do more damage than I am. That's just the way it is with him being a higher tier. But I'm going to be able to outrun him and get up here and get 3 shots into the Pantera. And had I been playing straight out of stop right here and not thinking that I could outrun the JP, but, you know, look at the health of my heavy team. They are easily going to win the battle, which they do. And so I think that's more of a typical play of this tank. It's difficult to survive every game in this tank just because you don't have a lot of hit points, you have no armor, you're not going to bounce a single shot off of this tank. But, you know, we still finished 3rd even in EXP 1524. Not great damage, but not bad either. You know, it was just one of those games where we couldn't help out the team as much as I'd have liked in a light tank, but that happens. So, you know, I think that's a very typical game in this tank. All right, guys, so Middleburg, bottom tier. This is a tricky match. You know, most of the time, the fight happens up here on the hill, the high ground. It's where you want to be. But if you look at our team, we've got a VK100 and an IS-3. And I can see a potential that they don't come up. So I like to stay on this edge of the map to give me an exit route. This is a nice little spotting location here. And I hate the armor on that Pershing, but we've spotted up now 4 tanks. And we're going to get a 5th one here on the lava coming up the hill. So that tells me they're all coming up, right? And the RHM has stayed down here as well. So this is one of those games that I don't expect to win at this point because we're going to lose both of those meds on the hill. And we now have a heavy up there as well. So this is the one thing I do like about the tank. It does have this mobility for me to quickly get around the map, and it has the shell velocity for me to hit tanks at a distance. So I've done my job of spotting early. I can't help the fact that my team did not come up to where the battle was going to be, but I can still do some damage from a distance, conserving my hit points to the end. And then I can help my team out at the end in spotting them from a distance. So thankfully the Smasher came down because that was an easy takedown. And now I'm far enough away that they're not going to be spotting me here. We got the VK on the hill. First one ricochets, second one plans. But I don't know, you know, this is one of those battles that you rarely ever see a win. T-44 is just sitting there on the hill. And we're keeping it close. But because, you know, they don't... We only have heavies now in town. We're not having anyone spotting them, so... That's now becomes my role on this team. I've heard the SU shoot. He's taken down. I was going to obviously get behind him and be able to clip him out. But now I need to get in and get some more spots. And for whatever reason, the enemy team has rushed in into our big guns there. And, you know, I'm okay trading a shot. 1 shot for 3 in this tank. I have a Kuhn's Panzer on me here. I was just playing around and trying to get him to, you know, get to the back of his tank so that he'd have to turn his turret all the way around just to see if that would help. But he still manages to get the tank angled around and get a lucky low roll there. And I'm able to get down the hill and finish off the T-44. And now it's a 3-on-1, so a rare win from town. But as you can see, I was very active in this game. I didn't sit around. I tried to help and spot. Towards the end, as you can see, we get the scout medal. And when you look at the damage, yeah, we were 4th. We weren't great, but we were bottom tier. But when you look at the experience and how much we helped the team, we were 2nd. So those are the things you kind of have to do in this tank. And it's not always about doing damage in the tank. So sliding right into the last battle here, bottom tier, Winter Malinovka, and I think this battle kind of puts it all together. How to play a light tank. You spot early. You run. You don't sit there and brawl. Then you snipe from a distance, and then you use your burst damage to clean up. So I'm being excessively aggressive here, but I've got 2 mediums behind me, and LTTB is also aggressive. But again, what I'm saying is, when you've got that burst damage there and you can get 3 shots into his 1, and I can get away and get the kill shot as well, that's what this tank is made for, and that's why the damage per minute number doesn't matter as much as the burst damage number. So seeing that they've got their heavies now coming down here, and Annihilator, I want no part of that. So let's see if we can't find some snipes from a distance here. And this is why I love the shell velocity on this gun. Alright, so the Annihilator is all alone here. I'm going to track him there, and while he's tracked, they do some serious damage to him, so that helps. And now it's just the purging, and they do have the SU and the RHM that I have to be worried about, but you can see I know that someone's in B just because B cap's going off. And this is what... Just love this tank's mobility here. That Pershing wasn't anywhere close to shooting. And I want to get in here and ram and HE, 3 HEs to the RHM, but we get tracked in the process. So, you know, and we have the mobility to just, yeah, not even get shot by this guy. It's a lopsided battle, but we've been aggressive and we've able to, you know, max out our shells, and this is why I think this tank is a blast to play. When you have a game like this where you've been all over the map, I mean, running behind an SU-130 doing 2,800 damage in the tank, it's just a blast to play. But you obviously have to be map aware. You know, don't get yourself into trouble, like the Desert Sands game, where I could have easily been up against a Pantera and a Centurion by myself or with a little help. So it's very situational, and use the speed to distract, and yeah, just have fun in it. It's a fun little tank. So hope you guys enjoyed the review, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button. And again, guys, have fun out there. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.